Shiitake ならくぬぎ、こなら、ひで、栗がいいみたい。勉強中です。そう、この菌が木の中に入って、来年の秋にキノコがね出てくるの。はい、じゃあこれできたから。
Those are oak logs in the back of Francois' K-Truck. He's going to need about 40 of them to cultivate shiitake mushrooms this year. And those go at a premium at the home centers in Japan.
About 10 centimeters in diameter, and the length it's about 90 centimeters. It's just convenient to transport more than if it's too small like that one. There is not enough nutriment for the mushroom, and if it's too big, I guess the mushroom cannot go to the middle. I don't really know why. Too big is not so good, but as is, if it's too small, it's not enough nutriment. That's it. But really, Noriko studied that more than me, so I don't know.
Noriko agrees that 10 centimeter oak is the best substrate because that allows the shiitake to enter into the wood, create a mycelium, and use that as a food source as it creates its own mushrooms or fruiting bodies. The process is simple enough. Simply drill a hole, maybe 2 or 3 centimeters deep, in the oak, and then plant the little plug that carries the shiitake fungi. After inserting the shiitake plug in the wood, you need to hammer it down a couple of times just to get it deep into that hole. Down there, Francois is looking for more logs to serve as substrates. The problem is that they need to be perfect, and there aren't very many perfect oak logs for the job. But while searching for logs, he has something else on his mind.
It will be time to make a log shed very soon. So we already stand to make it above the house. So I need a big one. So it doesn't cost any money for hitting the house.
We'll hear and see more about that shed in future episodes. Francois hopes to build the shed completely in the traditional Japanese way, using all reclaimed wood from other projects, old buildings, and just things that he's been able to accumulate over the past couple of years. It's a really exciting project, and I highly recommend watching his progress on that. But for now, let's check in on his progress preparing the shiitake logs. He'll need 40 logs in total to plant all the shiitake that he's hoping to plant, and that's a pretty tall order. As I mentioned earlier, these logs are expensive, almost 1,000 yen per log, and that's about $10 US. So it's not easy to compile 40 of them. Francois is hoping he can come up with 40 good logs out of the wood that's been donated to him, because at that price, buying more logs is absolutely out of the question. The actual planting of the shiitake is taking longer than expected too. Actually, Noriko and Francois had hoped that it would be just a morning job. Cindy's also joined in, and they hoped that would make it even shorter. But so far, it looks like it's going to be the whole day and maybe a little bit more. 40 logs is a lot of logs to plant, and each log has about 5 or 6 plugs in it, so it's taking a while to get everything done. Even my son jumped in and lent a helping hand, or a helping hammer as it were. Here are some tips I learned on how to do it. First of all, you want to drill about 2 or 3 centimeters deep into the log using a power drill. And then you want to make sure that the holes are kind of checkerboarded across the top of the log. That way, the individual plugs don't interfere with each other as they start to grow and spread in the log. Then it's time to take the logs to a shady area and put them a little bit off the ground so that the shiitake can easily infiltrate the log without experiencing any barriers to its growth. If you look here, you can see the neighbors have already started their shiitake growth. Francois and Noriko plan to set up the logs in the same way behind their house on this cement wall. But before setting the logs upright behind the house, the logs need to be laid down just a little bit above ground over a bed of hay. Noriko says this is the ideal condition for starting out the growth and getting the bacteria inside the log. And with that, spring starts at the Kominka. We'll keep track of those shiitake and everything else that's going to happen up here. It looks like it's going to be another busy year ahead.